It's in you. You possess the power. Just go hard. I need some motivation. Every day I try a little harder, but my dedication. Keep my head way, way above the water. Proud of myself when I yell at the wall. Begging to run, but I needed to crawl. I see the finish line up ahead, trying to get traction from all of this tread. I am a king, I am a queen. I am more than the people can see. I am strong when I'm needing to be. Vulnerability's nothing to me. You can try, but I'm unshakable. My successes is never debatable. I'm chameleon, I'm so interchangeable. Here's to you and all that you are capable.
Repetition makes reputation. Mike Gastelum. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Be the Leader. This is the show that helps you step up and be the leader that your team needs, your family needs. You guys know the deal. We designed this to help you with success, with leadership, with mindset, but it's not just about you. You know, this is about bringing you up so that you can bring your entire team up. Because we obviously, if you look around the world, that's what we need. We need more leaders building leaders. We need more people making a positive impact. And that's what this is all about. So I'm going to bring on, you guys know, I'm going to bring on good guests, qualified guests, ones that have a great track record, that have been through some shit. And, you know, the ones that I pick, these guys, not only do they have my respect, but what I find with them is that ones I pick are ones that can really break down to you guys strategies that change their life so you can change yours. There's people out there that have no idea how they got to the level that they're at, right? They're unconscious competence. But the people that I bring in, they're students of the game. They're students of success, and transformation is very, very important to them. So I'm excited to bring in today's guest. He's a guy that I've developed a good relationship with over the course of the last year. We're on the same vibrational plane, integrity-based, high drive, high work, insane work ethic. He's got multiple businesses. He's a life coach. He's an entrepreneur. He owns his own gym. He's worked with thousands of clients at this point, helping them transform their lives. Okay. There's a lot of people out there that like to fake the success. This is a real one that's worked with tons of people, and former D1 athlete. So you baseball players are out there are gonna love this guest as well. But one of my favorite things about him is that he bootstrapped himself to where he's at. You know, I think that's one of the hardest things in life is finding people that have worked from the bottom up, that are willing and able to articulate what they did and share that knowledge with others. I love finding those type of stories because it's what I always wanted when I was coming up. And if you are already successful, today's going to be a great show already, because Mike's insights into everything from spirituality to personal transformation to just goal setting and achievement, you're going to be able to pull a nugget out of today that's going to change your entire life. So today's guest, I'm honored to bring in Mike Gastelum. Come on in, my brother.
Man,
Hell
I
yeah.
appreciate it.
Hell
That was a dope intro.
Yeah,
right
bro.
there. I love it.
I just speak from the heart.
Yeah,
bro,
that was awesome. That's the way I do it too, man.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. We had a hell of a day today, Freaking
Absolutely.
team workout at,
Yep.
what time was it?
5 a.m. We don't miss 5 o'clock every time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How often do you do that again? Every three weeks or so?
Yeah, we do that every couple weeks. Team workout with the team, and then I like to throw in the personal development stuff, the mindset, the spirituality, the mentorship with the burpees, with the workout. Because if you're just somebody who goes to the workout and gets a physical transformation and you don't get that inner transformation, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
And so I make sure that our guys have both the outside and the inside transformation on multiple different levels. That way they don't yo-yo through life, like I was telling you earlier, with their weight going up and down, with their money going up and down. So if we can match the mental with the spirit, with the physical, that's a good alignment for success.
Yeah. Like, how many you guys have all heard of maybe about your internal thermostat, the thing that sets the temperature on your life, and that's what Mike's talking about. If you want to change your results in life, you start on your internal thermostat, the degree that you're set to. And that's what he's an expert at. I've seen his transformations, and it's very impressive. I'm excited to crack this open and share it with you guys.
Absolutely.
So, I like to kick it off just with either a random question, or one of my favorite ones is just like, what's like one of the most difficult things that you've overcame? Just kind of kicking it right from the start here,
Difficult things?
Yeah, something really challenging in your life that you overcame.
Man, they're already kicking it off with the hardest question, man.
Just a random one.
Yeah.
What comes to mind?
I think the first thing that comes to mind, honestly, my whole life has been one of an underdog story.
Yeah.
So, like you mentioned, becoming a D1 athlete, like I wasn't a scholarship athlete. So that's one that comes to mind because that basically set the tone for my entire life. It's been a theme, and maybe you guys can relate to that. Is, do you feel like an underdog? Because that's the story of my entire life. So I came from a small town. I don't even know how many people are in this town, probably a few thousand,
Yeah.
and then to go to a D1 school, playing all the top schools, I was not supposed to play on that team. But I chased my vision, chased what I wanted to do, and I walked on, made the team, and then eventually started. They gave me a full ride scholarship. It was a Cinderella, Rudy-like story. But not only that, I'm Mexican American. And it was also overcoming that odd, overcoming small town odds, overcoming that, being a minority, that I don't really like to bring that stuff too much into it,
Yeah.
but there is a part of that, the minority part, the status part.
Yeah.
Those are the things.
It's the story that's attached to all those things that you tell yourself. That's like everybody can relate to that.
Exactly.
Like the story you tell yourself to not take the path that you really, really want. Oh, I can't because I'm a minority. I can't because I wasn't born into wealth.
Right.
I can't because of all these reasons right here. That's what it sounds like, at least. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, my story is one of, it's a very common story. Like I didn't have a rock bottom thing. I didn't have anything crazy really happen to me, but I dealt with, there's other things in my life, but I like that one because it's been a completely, it's been a theme throughout my entire career, like playing Division I ball, starting my own business, getting my MBA. My whole life has been just like, here's like success, and here's like the threshold of me like redlining. It was like, it pushed me every single time. Like to do all those at that level, it like forced me to be better. And I think the main driver behind that was fear, to be honest with you.
Fear of
like
failure.
Fear of, you want to know what it is? Fear of living in fear. I don't want to be a person that lives in fear. I hate that. So I want to walk around with faith and confidence and be free in alignment. And that's something that I teach a lot of my people is don't be somebody that talks about God but lives in fear. Don't be somebody that prays and lives in fear. Don't be somebody who acts in fear. So all of those little things, when I look back at it, I could see that God had his fingerprints all over my life. Even I was 17 years old when I walked on that team, and there's 22-year-olds on that team. That's a massive difference.
Yeah.
But not only that, even when I got my MBA, there's 45, 55, 65-year-olds in the classroom right there too, and I'm 22 years old. Didn't really belong there, but I was just redlining that threshold, like redlining,
stretching yourself constantly.
Exactly.
Yourself.
Yeah.
You obviously have incredible drive. I want to get into your story, and we're going to crack open like the strategies and everything that's going to help people transform their lives. But another I guess semi-random question for you: What was your team, your baseball team, coming up?
Oakland A's. I mean, Bay Area. That's where we're from. You know, Napa Valley, California, Bay Area, 707. So San Francisco Giants, Oakland A's. That was my team. Warriors.
Yeah.
49ers. That type of thing.
Hell yeah. Nice. And Napa, this area, you've like you said before, you lived here. This is where you were raised.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Absolutely. It's kind of like it's a bubble out here. I'm one of the only guys. Probably the only guy who has a red Lambo.
Yeah. What's it like living in Napa? What's the demographics like here? 'Cause you said Mexican American earlier too. So what's it like here?
Well, Mexican Americans are who keep this town going. They're the ones that are building the wineries, who are picking the grapes. It's called wine country for a reason.
Yeah.
And who is that built off of? And not to say that there aren't other important people, but at the base level. Doing the hard working people, is, you know, immigrants and people like how I grew up, second, third generation. And what's it like? I mean, it's the way that we live, you don't really see guys out like us, to be honest with you. You don't see Lambos. You don't see people chasing their dreams. People come here to die,
Retired.
to retire.
Yeah.
To retire. And I'm kind of like living my dream here, but I think it's kind of cool at the same time because, in a way, I do feel like I'm a hometown hero in a weird way, you know. So
Well, I mean, you
Yeah.
are, because we were literally just at the store,
yeah,
parked outside, you know, in his Lambo, red Lambo, bright red, love
I
the
know.
color. And
chase the rainbow.
you know, family pulls up and just starts ask, can I take a picture? He's got his kids there and everything. It was like a family of 4 or something like that.
Yeah.
And they were looking up to you, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Like, what kind of person do you want to be? Do you want to be the guy that skirts off in his Lambo, is like, don't talk to me? I don't really want to be like that. That's kind of part of the reason why I wanted to get the Lambo at 35 instead of being 65. That way I can be like, hey, youngster, you know, like, you're 8 years old. Come sit. Have you ever
To inspire.
to inspire you? Come sit in the Lambo. Come feel what it feels like. Because when we're talking about touching it, like the law of proximity, like getting around people like yourself and higher level people, touching the Lambo, you have to.
Yeah.
You have to. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it
it's
makes
part
it
of
different.
it.
It's like it's like I was telling you earlier. I was never a car guy coming up, but once I got, you know, mine and I got in it, it was like when I took a step down, there was a huge contrast, and just being exposed to the nice levels in life makes you remember where they're at, and your mind constantly works to get you back to that level. So I think that exposure to people all over the place is super important. And how'd it feel to, you know, to get that type of it? I don't want to say attention, because you're not after it for the attention. You're after it for service. And you said that in the car. You know, how does that feel? How do you deal?
It feels great. It feels great because what I'm doing is opening people's real eyes. And what happens is you get distracted and you lose your vision in life. And that's what happens in school, in church, in all these institutions. That's what, you know, Napoleon Hill talks about Outwitting the Devil. That's a good book for any of you guys who are looking for personal development books. You get distracted, and what I'm doing is keeping that vision alive, their eyesight alive. And I talk about it, I was talking to you about it on the way, how people are looking out in life with their physical eyes, but you want to be looking out with your spiritual eyes. Those are the ones that are going to get you to fulfill why you were created here on this earth. That's purpose. That's purpose, bro. And so what I'm doing is, even though they're 8 years old, they probably haven't gotten their vision blotted out yet, but it will happen by either hardship, your parents saying you can't do it, your teachers saying you can't do it. I mean, I even go as far as saying demons and spirits and other players, you know, around that are just gonna like put you down, and you feel that, and you don't know why, and you don't know where it went. So my purpose is to keep that flame lit, because that's part of the reason why I'm here. The gift is vision. I help people with their vision. I help people with their purpose.
I love that. I mean, there's 2 questions. I got one. One is
I'm getting them going now. I'm getting them going.
So many.
Yeah.
I want to pick your brain.
Yeah.
So 2 things that come to mind. I want to know who helped you create your vision. Like where does that come from? You know, like who helped you inspire you to create a vision? And then the second thing is maybe this one first.
Yeah.
You go by Gas Money.
Yeah.
Where does that name come from?
Gastelum is my last name. It's a Mexican. I'm Mexican, but it's a Spanish Basque last name. Gastelum. It's not like a common like Hernandez or Rojas or I don't know. I can't think of any, you know, like Mexican last name. You know what I'm saying? Gastelum is not like very common.
Yeah.
And then money, because I was money on the ball field. Like I was money. Like I get the clutch hit, get the winning save or the save or whatever it is. It's just money all the time. And even when I played music, like I always filled the spot that needed to be filled. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you have a pattern of stepping up.
Yeah.
Whatever, catching the ball, like being in the right spot, right time to make that, like, quote unquote, like money. Like I'm here to make it, to score the shot, essentially.
I think that's important for people to realize, because let's say you're doing the interview. I'm not going to try to be the interviewer.
Yeah.
Like I know that
Yeah.
wherever you're not, I'll be.
Yeah, that's how a good team
Yeah.
operates. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
they feed off of each other, yin and yang, and they move together in alignment. Like we were talking
Exactly.
about this morning at the gym.
Yeah.
It was like you're headed one direction,
Right.
and I'm coming in, and a good partner comes in, and we move the same direction. I don't take it a totally different direction,
Right.
you know?
Right. That's what we were talking about. I'm like, thank you. I appreciate that. I really do appreciate that because I'm letting somebody come into my house and talk to my people and have years of work for somebody to come in and either fortify it or to destroy it or question it or put a little speck of doubt. And I'm like, oh no, he's only like supplementing, like you said. That's dope.
Yeah, and you're very. What I love too about the work that you do is you're very not just passionate, but you're very protective. You know, that's a sign of a good coach, a good leader. Is I always tell people that if to be a good leader, like protecting your people is key. You know, you should know them. You should know them like a friend. You should treat them like a parent, like a good stern parent, and you should protect them too. You know, just like a parent does.
Absolutely.
But not to that delusional level where your kid's a freaking tearing up the school, being a dick, and the parent's like justifying his shitty actions. You know what I mean? Like a good parent does.
Absolutely.
So you do that with your people, and I see that in you. You know.
Absolutely.
Taking it back. So your upbringing, right? So this drive that you have, is it? I know you said that you never wanted to be in fear, right? You never wanted to live a life of fear.
Yeah.
But after all the people I've talked to, studied, interviewed, there's a catalyst to their drive. There's some sort of dissatisfaction that is in their life that created it. Like for your childhood, what was it about? What were some of like the main things, the driving factors for you as a kid? You know,
You want to know? My mom sent me like a grade report from like kindergarten, like around that level.
Yeah.
And you know how they're all kind of like, it's not like A, B, C, D type thing or 1 through 4, like how they do it. It was kind of like a progress note. And she was like, teacher's notes. It said, it was kind of embarrassing, but she was like, he loves repetition. And it totally makes sense because my favorite quote, well, it's like the quote that everybody knows me by is repetition makes reputation. Like I'm a repetitive ass motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like I just keep doing the same shit over and over. But to answer your question, because I feel like I'm not really answering your question,
it's getting there.
but I'm getting there.
That's
Yeah, is one thing I've always done is whenever I've got something, I've always tried to make it better, just a little bit better, no matter what. Like in everything. Like it could be like my hair.
Yeah.
How can I make it better? It could be like my speaking. How can I make it better? We're on the basketball court. How can we make this whole thing funner?
Where does that come
more
from?
badass?
Where does that come
It's
from?
a gift, bro.
Oh, you think it's just part of you?
Yeah, it is
It
because
wasn't taught from anybody, like anything like that?
nah, I'm sure there's some genetics involved, but this is that progress report, dude. I was like 6.
I know.
I was like 7.
Yeah.
Like, where does that come from?
Yeah.
What I'm trying to say is that how do you know what your vision and purpose is? You'll see it early on in your life and throughout your life, and that's how you know. You'll be like, why am I more attuned to focus on this? But why are you a CPA? That's not even what your gift is. That's not even what your vision is. Why are you a doctor? It's out of alignment. So I get people to get, I know I'm taking your question even a little bit different direction, but that's what I do with people. I'm like, that's your gift. What your gift is isn't what my gift is, but that's why we're coaches, because you're going to help your people. I'm going to help my people. And I know that you have to know what your gifts are, trust them, and then keep following them and growing them. So when I get my people, I groom them. I make them better.
Yeah.
So when people, they get down to 10% body fat, I'm like, no, we can make this better. Let's get you down to 6%. Obviously, I get them down to a good, healthy weight, hit there, go back up.
Yeah.
Or we make 15 grand a month. Let's get to 30 grand a month. And just keep doing that in all areas. Not just those areas, could be spiritually. Could be other areas.
Obsessive. You got that obsessive personality.
Yeah. Not happy, bro.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's what drives me too. Is like we're probably happy and unhappy at the same time.
Happy and dissatisfied.
Kind of, yeah, that quote, yeah. Like some days I'm just like, if I'm being honest, like some days I'm not happy with who I am and where I am. But don't like take that, I don't want anybody to take that the wrong way.
Like you don't hate yourself.
I
You're
don't,
just
yeah.
dissatisfied you're just looking for improvement. And you expect improvement.
Exactly. That's if you're not really paying attention, you'll miss that one. But if you are, like it's like that quote, the person who knows the most is in the most pain. Like the more knowledgeable you are, the more in pain you are. Like the more wise you are, you witness like more shit like in life. You know what's going on just energetically, you know what's going on with people around you. You feel different things, you're aware to different shit, and I'm sure you're like that too. But I feel that,
Yeah. Was your journey transformation to playing D1 ball painful?
Oh yeah, very, very painful, because I came from a small town school where I was like I was the man, to go into a mid-major school, which was huge for me, to sitting on the bench, I got treated like dirt, to be honest with you. I got yelled at, I got treated poorly. I don't know if being yelled at explains it enough. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but like, it was just the energy, like, you're nothing. Yeah, and I'm gonna yell at you. Not only are you nothing, all of the other 39 people on the roster, they think that you're nothing. So I had to weather that and stay like resilient, like persistent.
So you were 17, right?
Yeah, 17 and a half. Like I was, young.
And so did I understand that right? Where you came from, you were kind of like a rock star type player.
Kind of, yeah. I was the best athlete to basically come out, probably top 5 athletes to come out of this town.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you go to this, you step up a notch, you stretch yourself like you talk like you do in your life, right?
Right.
And then you have a humbling experience, which actually is not even just humbling. It's like
it's demoralizing
you.
Yeah.
They're
trying to make me quit, bro.
Yeah.
They were trying to make me quit. They don't want me on the team.
Why do you think they didn't want you?
Because they had 40 other guys trying to walk on at the same time. They had 40 other walk-ons on top of the scholarship kids, on top of the main roster. Every year, it's kind of like this renewal process. That year, instead of 3 walk-ons, there was 40. So I had to compete against not just the main fools, I had to compete against the walk-ons too. So they're just basically, how much pressure can I put on this guy? And let's just weed out the guys that probably are just going to crack under pressure anyway. And they're probably not going to show up to practice if I can crack them right here.
Yeah, it's very very similar to military strategy.
Yeah, that's why I said that.
They do a lot of the same things there. For somebody that doesn't understand baseball, college ball, and stuff like that, we can understand the attrition rate. There was 40 walk-ons, and out of that 40, there was 3 that were.
There was, I believe, there was 2 or 3
somewhere around there.
Yeah, which I mean, being a walk-on is like unheard of, really. Very, very rare.
Yeah, put that into perspective for somebody that isn't familiar with baseball.
Being a walk-on at a D1 school is probably less. It's probably not even 1%. It's probably 0.5%. I'm not exactly sure, but it's very rare. But we're rare individuals,
Is that? Why do you think that is? Why do you think so many people don't try to walk onto a dream school of theirs and play in their dream
playing
sport?
is safe, man. Just like everything else. Yeah. Like my whole life, the threshold thing, like literally betting on myself, acting in faith instead of fear. They rather be like, whoa, I could get more playing time at this D2 or D3 school, NAIA or whatever, and get more playing time. I'm like, yeah, but not me. I'm going to go for what I really want and try to make it work.
How long did the hazing, hating, demoralizing, how long did that go on?
Probably about a year and a half. Yep. No, like nonstop.
What was like a memory that you have from that experience that was like messed you up or was a painful thing to think about?
I don't know if it messed me up, but one that I remember.
Yeah.
One that I could vividly think about, and that I've had, like, I wouldn't even say nightmares, because like they're just, it's something I laugh about now.
Okay.
I'm like, oh, that's cool. I got reminded of that.
Yeah.
I won't tell the whole story, but everybody's out on the ball field. I get in trouble for something that I didn't even do.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, it's like Ranger School.
Yeah.
Yeah, keep going.
And you can't just be like, hey guys, I didn't do it. You got to suck it up.
Yeah.
And for me, I already knew that code. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because if you
Like,
say I didn't do it,
yeah.
it's like you're casting blame.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Like they look at you like an excuse maker, and it's like, is this guy just gonna? Nobody gives a shit whether you did it or not.
Exactly.
It's like, are you gonna just suck?
I took it as basically you're a bitch if you snitch out on this
Yeah.
one, basically. So I didn't say nothing. I wore it. I took it. I took it as kind of like be a team player too, show that you're tough. And I just remember the coach, like, I was like, this cannot be legal. Like the way he's talking to me right now in front of everybody, just ripping me up and down for about, I don't know, it was probably like 8 to 10 minutes. I can't remember exactly what he was saying, but I remember him telling me, you're not going to practice. You're just going to run the track for the remainder of the practice. And the practice just started, by the way. It's like a 2.5 hour practice. So the track back and forth, left to right field, grab the medicine ball. It's like a 12-pound medicine ball. You're going to run with it just back and forth for 2.5 hours. Like, this is bullshit. And I remember he was yelling at me so bad that at first it was striking fear in me. It was scaring me. Like, I didn't like it.
Yeah.
But then it got to the point where it was scaring me. It was embarrassing me. Then it started pissing me off. That was the moment when I was like, I'm about to like just clock this fool.
Yeah, I was wondering what you
For
were
real.
thinking and feeling right
I
while
wanted,
you're going through this.
Yeah, because I think he was sitting down. I was like, I'm just gonna. And as I was carrying the medicine ball, I'm running by him. He has his shades on. I have my shades on, and I just remember like giving my like meanest look. Like I felt like I was about to risk it all. But this is already, I don't know, probably a whole year into this process. I'm like, dude, if I risk this right here
and process, yeah,
if I risk this right here, you're done. All of that wasn't worth it. But I didn't do anything. But that's how bad it was, and I just took my ass over there and just. You're not supposed to throw the medicine ball on the ground, and I was just bouncing that shit. I was like, I hope somebody says something.
Yeah.
But no one said anything.
Yeah, I mean, this is like a military selection for 12 months, and they're just like constantly playing. We call them fuck games.
Yeah.
Fuck games with you, hazing you, whatever. The military doesn't like that term as much anymore, but
It 100% was.
but it was 100%. Surprised you didn't clock him. What did baseball mean to you? Like, why did you choose that sport? What did it mean to you? What did it symbolize? You know, why were you going after? What did you want to do with baseball?
I never wanted, to be honest with you, I was always the kid that was really good at sports.
Yeah.
And my dad always pushed me. Like, I had a good dad, bro,
Yeah.
like a great family. And he always pushed me to play sports, and I was good at it. And he would coach me. He would coach the teams and everything. I played shortstop, pitcher, catcher, and he could play any position. And what my point is my dad, I would always be like, I'm not playing this year. I don't want to play. I never loved it, bro. I never freaking loved it.
Wow.
I never did. I was good at it. I liked it, but I never loved it. The reason why I played college ball was because I was good at it. And my mentor at the time that I met at 16 years old, I got lucky. I had a mentor at 16 years old who taught me that, quote, repetition makes reputation. He's the one who gamed me up on that. He was a 65-year-old guy. I did it basically for them. But it was for me because I learned a lot of lessons along the way.
But the big driving factor was basically living up to these guys that you respected, and they were
part of
helping
it.
you.
A part of it. I will say this, like, you know, being Latino, we come from like a baseball family. Like, I'm good with my hands. Like, if we're doing something physical out here, I can make it happen. Probably similar to you. We're playing baseball, I can make it happen. Playing football, I can make it happen. And I felt kind of like this in my blood, bro. Like, playing sports is in my blood too. So I had that kind of like, I don't know, like a Dominican Republic, Puerto Rican kid. They're just good, bro.
Yeah.
Like, I was good at fielding. Like, really, that's where I shined.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know if that answers your question.
No, it does, because I asked because a lot of people are looking for drive. You have drive, you know, and there's external motivation and internal motivation, but you had this blend of both. And I was kind of filtering through which one was the bigger driver in your life, because I think a lot of people are when they get on this growth path, they try to live up to the expectations of people that are on that path too. And they still struggle with being themselves. They're not quite internally driven to do the right things when no one's watching. You know what I mean?
Yep, absolutely.
So for somebody that you were able to basically take a path in life that you weren't really in love with, like you knew you were good at it, but it wasn't like some big dream that you had to.
The love story was me overcoming. The love story was never baseball.
I love that.
The love story was me grinding, me getting shit talked to, me being in my dorm room and having a weighted bat and just going like this to work out my little forearms at the time.
Yeah, so you wanted to prove everybody wrong.
Exactly. I don't really recommend that, to be honest with you, but in the infant stages, that might happen for you to elevate to that next stage.
I mean, it happened with me. I got sat down by a senior officer who told me that I wasn't going to make much as an infantry officer. And when they said that, I held on to that comment for my whole life. I still remember. It still drives me.
Yeah.
I'm not going to make much of an infantry officer. Not only am I going to be good, I'm going to be the best. Like, I'm going to be the fucking best, And
you were the best?
Oh, I mean, arguably, yeah. Like, I mean, by stats. I'm not saying, not pumping my own horn or whatever you call it, but top block evaluations, top 1% in the military, got in the 75th, Strike Force Ranger PL. It was like becoming,
man, dropping the credentials on here.
Bro, it was like being the quarter. It was like being on the NFL team of the team that goes to the Super Bowl. I made it in my mind. I made it to that level, and the attrition rate was incredible. And a lot of it had to do with that comment from that officer, the prove you wrong mentality.
Absolutely.
So I think you caution people not to use it, but I think what you're really doing is caution people not to develop hate in their heart.
Exactly. Or resentment.
Yeah.
Or ego.
Yeah.
Like you have to, if you can, like find it within to have that internal drive to come from your real authentic self, your real identity, have it come from there. But I mean, if it happens that way, it happens. Just don't stay there. Because ego's edging God out. Like ego is just, you're operating from ego at that point. And ego feeds off of all the stuff that we were feeding off of how it made us feel, how it made us look. It was the perception of others,
What do you say to somebody so the biggest thing that I pulled out of that can help somebody change their life is to stop chasing a result. You don't have to necessarily be externally driven or internally driven. Well, rather, I guess what I should say is that the key to being driven is to fall in love with the story you have for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Is that an accurate way of saying it?
Absolutely. Yeah, I don't even think like you should really look too much at the outside world. I know this is going to sound crazy. I'm getting a little like more spiritual real quick, but I've always had that, by the way. I just want to let everybody else know. While I played sports, and we're talking about my sports career at the time, I was reading the Bible, reading books on fear. I don't know why I started reading all those books, but I had a few personal development books there, probably because I did have a little bit of that underlying anxiety, underlying fear and doubt I knew was there, but I was pushing it down because I didn't think that's what men had. I didn't think men even had those feelings, but I'm getting to the point where...
say that again. You didn't think what they had. Elaborate on that.
Well, growing up, I never... Like my dad is a great dad. Like my father's, to me, he's a badass. Like I like how I'm not saying badass in the sense of he wasn't out drinking, I didn't see him like, doing anything crazy like that. But to me, he was just a manly man. Like, and so were a lot of the people that I grew up around, but I never saw them really talk about anxiety. Not that it didn't happen.
Right, your perception of Ben.
It was always hidden behind. So when I started feeling it, I'm like, damn, I'm a fucking bitch. I feel weak. Where are these feelings coming from? I must be that generation that everybody talks about. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so when it started coming out, I started researching because that's how I am. I'm solution oriented, not problem oriented. I sit in the solution. I don't entertain problems. And so that's when I started picking up all that stuff. But to be honest, like, you have to face those fears. You have to get acquainted with, your feelings and who you are. The feelings are feedback.
Yeah.
The feelings are feedback of how you're thinking, of what you're seeing, everything. It's your report card, basically, of how you're doing.
Yeah.
You know?
I think that's such an important lesson for everybody to really understand, especially like men that have fear and anxiety. Like you said, it can be crippling. It can make you feel like less than a man.
Mm-hmm.
And what you did is like you felt that way, but then you started doing something about it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was taught at a young age, if you don't like something about yourself, you fix it. And that was like a thing that carried with me my whole life.
Yep.
So you guys that are listening, you know, fear, anxiety, overwhelm, these are natural human things that everybody has, but what are you doing to fix it? What do you do? Are you being solution oriented? Like Mike said, are you being problem oriented where you're like, you identify with your anxiety, you identify with your fear. Oh, I'm anxious. Oh, my anxiety caught up to me and I can't go do that because of my anxiety. Are you actually trying to solve the problem, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. What are you entertaining, basically? What kind of thoughts and feelings today have you been entertaining all day? Whatever you entertain is basically going to persist, and you're going to continue to see.
Yeah. I love that, bro. So what are some things that you did to basically keep yourself committed to this goal? I'm going to talk to you about business. I'm going to talk to you about your transformations. That's next. But this is a really important part because you developed a lot of your determination through playing baseball and working your way to playing in D1, you know? And a lot of people lack commitment. A lot of people lack discipline. They lack follow through. There's not a lot of people out there that can commit to something for a year that they like versus, you know, even the people that can, like yourself, doing something for a year that it's not even really the thing that you're after. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like you're very committed there. So what are some things that you did, little like techniques you did to keep yourself on the path of believing that you could walk on to the team and you would beat those 40 other players that were trying to walk on? Like, what are some things that kept your head in the game, kept you focused, committed, and consistent? What are some things that you did?
I was lucky, and this is the power of mentorship, is that I met my mentor at the time. My dad, I was talking about my dad for a little bit. He took me to the level that he could. But then a mentor came in my life. And luckily, we were at a position where we could receive it. We were open enough to see it and really use it. But he gamed me up so well. Like I was always used to go to practice, put your cleats on, go to practice, and then once you get home, just, you know, it's over.
Yeah.
He taught me the mental side of the game, but it was actually the mental side of life. So he talked to me about how the approach, like when you walk up to the plate, when you run out to the field, but this goes to life, literally, like it transcends to life too. But he was an older cat. He was successful in finances, in stocks and stuff like that. He owned the Fresno Grizzlies. And I was getting advice from this little town, from this top level guy. It's like, imagine when we're 65, bro. We're going to be like a weapon.
Yeah.
We're going to be a weapon, bro.
Yeah.
That's what he was giving me. And this type of guy he would be like, hey, Mike, let's go to dinner. And I would roll to dinner with him. And it would be like Moses parted the Red Sea. Everybody would move out of the way. I'd be like, I've never seen that. Like, even though my dad was dope and everything, when I rolled with him, he commanded respect and that power. The answer to your question is he kept me on my path. The course correction was a person. The course correction was he was the motivation. He like kept that self-talk. Because if I didn't have him, my dad didn't have the intellect and the wisdom and the intuition to guide me enough, and all the other hate and all the other negativity, that would have stopped me.
Yeah, it's tough when you chase that goal, you know, and you have to weather the storm of all the negativity, all the people that are talking shit, the doubt, and then you're dealing with your own internal problems of, man, I'm fucking tired. I don't want to go do this work. All that stuff stacks up.
Yep.
One of the techniques that I used, that I don't know if you had something like this, but I used to pretend that I was the ranger in advance. You know, I used to like go on these runs and I would try to like align my habits to that identity that I wanted to be. And that really kept me focused because there was a chance in my day where I got to pretend like I was that person ahead of time.
That's very freeing. That's very that's good.
Well, it helped me. It helped me release from the pressure and the doubt that I had. It was like a moment where I finally felt like, you know, I can do this, and the belief in myself. And I would repeat that process over and over again.
See, I have techniques like that, but I didn't find them out until later. So like while I played, I had little techniques that I fell upon. There was this, and just to, at the time, they were very low level techniques, by the way. I would pretend that I was Derek Jeter. I would pretend that I was Omar Vizquel, who's another top level shortstop. I would pretend I was somebody else. That brought the best out of me. It was like imitation. I was like, just play like them. And then it gave me confidence. I borrowed their confidence. And the other technique was I realized I was hard focused the entire time. I learned soft focus, hard focus. So like there was a mountain in the corner that I would just go to. It was just like this, it almost looked like a country mountain with like a flag that I saw. And I just pictured like a little swing, and it's just super peaceful. So I'm over here stressed out on the field, like crazy, like it's so tense. And I would take my mind and visualize that I was over there hitting like from a wood bat, just like having fun. And then by the time I snapped back into the game, I felt more calm. I felt more focused. So kind of fluctuating between hard focus, soft focus. That helped me at the time.
Yeah, I mean,
is it going to help you guys? I have way better techniques now.
I think that's a great technique that
Yeah.
somebody can apply to their day, because a lot of people try to stay hard focused in their day all day. And they just get fatigued and tired, and they're like, I don't know why I can't get myself to work out. It's because you're like literally working for this job and you only focusing on the job. You're not coming out to that soft focus, resetting, and kind of going from this like flow state to flow state throughout the rest of your day. You know, it was like we said at the training session this morning. Can you recommit? Can you lock in and recommit for this next set? And that's what you were doing. You're recommitting.
That's it. That's beautiful. You know what else I was doing was that in the world, when you are operating, you're constantly looking down, or you're looking at right what's in front of you. You forget that we're in this universe. And what I realized that I was doing now, I was looking up. I was realizing that there's God. I didn't really put it there, but I realized that I was just this little tiny person, and I'm putting all this pressure on myself, and I was able to detach. And that's one of the principles that I teach people, is to not attach to the result. Don't attach to anything. Don't attach to anything. Being attached to something is the state of not having it.
Yeah.
That means you don't have it. If you're attached to it, if you're attached to money, that means you don't got it. If you're attached to a result, that means you ain't got it. When you have something, you release, you relax. And what it was allowing me to do was like expand my mind and my conscience, my conscious, all of that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's
yeah.
like,
I don't know
it's
if
like
that.
no, it's like when you live in lack and limitation, all you're gonna see is lack and limitation, and you're gonna constrict yourself versus expand. You know, Mike Tyson said, "A happy fighter is a dangerous fighter." You know, that kind of goes along with that mentality, and just releasing from the outcome and becoming that happy warrior, because you're more lethal that way,
Yeah.
right? And it's like when you chase something, it just doesn't stick. Like it's always goes away. It's like the chick that you try to date. You're too persistent, she runs away. It's like it's like fuck.
Yeah, whatever you chase runs.
Yeah, yeah. All right, moving forward. So I think that there's a lot of great nuggets there, man. I mean, just the technique of soft focus, hard focus, the value of mentorship and keeping yourself accountable, the story that you're telling yourself, is that helping you or hurting you accomplish your goals? And you know, having faith and developing your faith with God, you know, and all key components of pulling off whatever it is that's inside of your heart. I know you ended up becoming a gym owner. I know a little bit about the story. We don't have to go too deep into that,
Right.
but you ended up opening up your own gym. COVID also closed you down.
Yep.
And then you got into online coaching. Talk me through kind of how that played out in just general like overview.
Yeah, so I finished school. I was a fifth year senior, and they gave me a full ride scholarship to start my MBA, Master's in Business Administration. I wasn't gonna say no. I'll take it. I'll do it, and it was what I wanted to do. After I completed that, or while I was doing that, I was in construction. I did construction for 3 years, and instead of going the construction route, I decided I wanted to own a gym. And the gym that I bought was the gym that I was going to. And luckily, the owner wanted to get out of the business. I was looking to start something. I always wanted, like, even in ninth grade, I would be like, I'm going to start a business. I'm going to start a restaurant. Like, I don't even like food that much. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't have a passion for that stuff.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
I just wanted to I'm a creator. I'm a builder.
Yeah.
I'm that type of person. And so I was like, man, like I know what the gym has done for me so much, confidence wise, with my body, self-esteem, everything. I'm gonna own this gym. I didn't know anything about owning a gym. I didn't know anything about leading teams. I was more of a quiet leader even on the ball field.
Yeah.
So I didn't know how to, like the way that I command respect and attention and lead, I did not have that back then. I was a leader by example. I've learned to construct this and build this because I knew it was a weakness. I knew I was fearing it. I knew I was running from it. So built that. 5 years in, I did okay, I would say. I had a good year or two because a lot of it was building, bro. Like I had to take it over, fix it, fix a lot of broken machines, fix infrastructure that wasn't there, blah, blah, blah. 5 years into it, COVID gets here and it shuts down everything that I've worked for. And then basically, I always just like to say that's where the leader, the real Mike, the real Gas Money, the real leader was born.
Oh yeah.
And from there, that's when I had to start doing online coaching.
Yeah, you pivoted.
Yeah, I pivoted. This wasn't a choice. But was it? Was it a setup or was it something that happened to me? I think it was a setup for this greater opportunity.
Yeah.
Because look at how many lives that I'm changing. You can see the purpose in your life and in my life by the lives and how many lives that you're affecting. And that's how great your purpose is on life. You can see it. How many lives are you changing? That's how you could tell.
I love it, man.
Yeah.
Some
people can't even take care of their own family.
Oh, bro, that's true.
That's what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
that tells you you're either in your way, you're in God's way, or you're not meant to really fulfill anything. You choose.
Yeah.
I don't like to say the last one.
Yeah.
But I think you can take care of yourself and your family for sure, you know?
Yeah. How hard was it to go from athlete to construction worker to labor?
Easy. I'll do that the next
What
day.
was the hard part about construction for you?
The hard part was I worked for my dad, listening to my dad, you know, to be honest with you.
What was hard about
because I would say we're probably very similar.
Oh, okay.
He's a leader, but I wouldn't say he's very vocal. So he expected me to read his mind. Okay. I'm like, I'm not a fucking mind reader. Like, you're gonna have to tell me what you want from me and what I don't know anything about this.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I say is, where do you get your identity from? I believe you get a majority of your identity from your father. And if you grew up with a poor father figure or a great father figure, that's going to represent your identity. And so part of my insecurity, shout out to my dad right here, part of my insecurity was him grabbing the hammer out of my hand, grabbing the nail out of my hand. And I just wanted to try it. I just wanted to be like the guys, you know what I mean? Like, I'll try it. Like, let me lay the brick. Let me screw the whatever. And he'd be like, he'd just rip it out of my hand, like kind of aggressive, like almost demeaning.
Yeah.
Shout out to my dad. But like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But like now I'm cool. But at the time I was like, damn, that feels like shit. And it would piss me off.
Yeah.
It would piss me off and not make me want to work. I wouldn't quit because I'm not a quitter.
Yeah.
I know respect. I know character. And I wasn't soft, but I didn't like that. So I don't do that to other people now. You know what I'm saying? I let people, I'm more patient.
What'd you do with that
empathetic.
anger though at the time? Did you just?
Oh, I just go my other way and dig my ditch or like pick up gravel or mix a batch of mortar or carry block. I just forget it.
What were you telling yourself? So, I mean, it's kind of like, it's being corrected. It's being told you're not doing it right. It's telling you don't deserve to be doing this or whatever. There's a lot of things that are being said in that moment. Mm-hmm. What were you telling yourself while this was going
on? Probably that I'll figure it out on my own.
Okay.
To be honest with you.
Yeah.
Like I'll observe and I'll watch. I'll try it when you're not looking. I'll do it while I'll learn. So
prove you wrong mentality.
Yes. Prove you wrong mentality. There's probably a lot of that, a lot of ego in that. But my dad and my uncle worked together, and I worked a lot with my uncle. but my uncle was good with me, and he taught me a lot that my dad couldn't do because he wasn't communicating correctly. He wouldn't communicate. He wasn't patient enough. He's one of those, man, I feel like I'm dogging on my dad now, but like,
No,
yeah,
you talked great things about him, but
yeah,
it's the truth. Like
yeah,
we're not, none of us are perfect, and it's like this is an area
yeah,
that
yeah,
you learned a lot. You
yeah,
learned like what you learned a lot is like a lot about communication.
yeah,
You know, and actually, I mean, to me, you've been a great communicator. So it's obviously an area
yeah.
that you focused on improving and making better in yourself.
I noticed that with a lot of business owners is that they reach a certain level because they're not willing to delegate and release their position where they want to be involved with, I want to be on the job site. I'm like, you're still in your business.
Yeah.
You got to work on your business and be like, you do this, you do that. I'm out. I don't need to be here the entire time. He was
Yeah.
doing that.
Yeah,
And I'm like,
yeah.
dude, show me so you could go out and go get another job. I was already thinking that. I'm like, you show me, I'll do that so you can focus on something else.
Yeah.
It wasn't just so I can learn my little skill. Like I could see that already. If that makes sense.
No, it's good, man. It's like we're all you're grabbing up lessons, and you have, like I said, like that. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna figure it out. The FITFO mentality, right?
Mhm.
But so you go through this with construction. You're kind of like, and everybody can relate to that with their
Mhm.
parents, by the way. Like, you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like nobody.
frustrating.
No,
Yeah.
it's fine. Like it's just part of it. But our parents teach us a lot. They give us the good and the bad. And you know,
They
you just,
taught me a lot, bro. Like
yeah,
straight up,
I
like
can tell.
faith, character,
I can-
responsibility, how to show up. Like,
Did faith come from primarily mom or dad?
oh, my mom,
Yeah.
my mom's spiritually gifted. I don't even think she's tapping into it fully,
Yeah.
to be honest with you. But that's where it came from.
And you've carried that into
Yeah.
your business.
100%.
So you opened up your gym and you started transforming people.
It's called Saint for a reason.
Yeah. Oh yeah, talk
It's
about
called
that.
Saint Fit for a reason. It was called Saint Alina Fitness. Now it's called Saint because we're pointing people not back at me. We're pointing people back at God in some facet, in one way or the other. There's no way that you go through all that pain and all that hardship and all tragedy, whatever you go through, and you got yourself out of that. Yeah, you might have helped yourself a little bit, but there was a God component, there was a faith component, there was people along the way that were assisting you, pointing right back at God.
So you basically built it to honor God in a way.
I would say so.
Or
in a
at
way.
least you're everything you do, you're trying to connect it to God at least. Is
Yeah.
what it seems like.
I never really second guessed it or anything. And I think people guess or hesitate a lot with their life and what they're going to do and what they're going to say and what move. And they're very intellectual and very robotic with it. I never second guess. I knew it was Saint. Like as soon as I said it, I was like, that's it. I was like, and I never second guessed it from there. It was Saint Fit and that's what it was going to be. And I never tried to figure out why or what's the I'm like, I don't need to know.
Yeah.
It's all good. I'm like, I'll figure it out when I figure it out.
Yeah. It feels important to me. This
Yep.
is it. Decisions
Exactly.
made. Move on to the next thing.
Yep, for sure.
It's for somebody that I got a lot of guys on my that I work with as well that are constantly working on their faith.
Mm.
You know, what are some ways that somebody can get started to develop stronger faith?
Solitude. A lot of people isolate, and I teach solitude. Like, don't go into isolation because you're fearful or you're resenting. You go into solitude, and that's the power of the program that I teach is the system. Like, what is your daily program? What is your system? The first thing that you do, it actually starts the night before. The success of tomorrow starts the night before. But what do you do right when you get up? Do you rush out of your house? Do you open up that email? Do you open up your Chase bank account? What do you do? I teach my people get up at least 5 o'clock in the morning or earlier. I have some team members that get up at 3:15 in the morning, already right into their morning process. So get up early, and the first thing that you're going to do, you're going to check in, not with an email, but you're going to check in with God, and you're going to check in giving thanks. And a lot of people do this, talk. God, it's an idle prayer or it's an idle talk, whereas that's okay if you want to talk and pray. Prayers for talking, but I want you to listen. Meditation is to become familiar and to become familiar with God. Like if God were to even say anything to you, would you be able to recognize his voice? If an angel were to whisper something in your ear, would you be able to recognize that voice? I bet you wouldn't, because you haven't sat down in solitude to recognize that voice. You know maybe what you sound like, you know what I sound like, you know what that email looks like, you know what everything else looks like except the main thing. The main thing is God, purpose, vision, all that stuff.
So basically, like you said, not isolation, solitude, and listen. And start your morning with that, and just kind of like keep following it, keep, being repetitive.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And
your ability to listen is a sign of wisdom. Seriously. Like, you can judge somebody on their scale of their ability to listen. While I'm talking, are you talking? While you're talking, am I talking? If you coach me right now, I'll be able to move my ego out of the way and really receive what you're saying.
Yeah.
And if it resonates with me, at least I can take it in and keep the parts that I really resonate with, or at least maybe try all the parts.
Yeah.
Really give it a shot.
I think in a lot of cases you can tell somebody's income by how well they listen. Because a lot of the times, like when at least when I was like broke, I was a quiet kid, but when somebody would try to coach me or something, there's a point where I've been relatively like coachable, but I definitely had a point in my life where I wanted to tell the other person what was the
What
answer.
time it was?
Yeah, like versus listening, and it was like the less I listened, the less I was making at the time.
Yeah.
That's true.
I think the reason why I listened so well was because I had an inferiority complex for a long time. So I naturally listened. I naturally submitted. Does that make sense?
Wait, what do you mean by that? You had inferiority complex? What do you mean?
So I remember my mentor at the time. He's very smart, bro. Like that's why I did so well, because he had a lot of wisdom, not just wisdom, but he had a lot of knowledge at the same time. So he would game me up on these psychological terms. I was probably the smartest kid on the team when it came to terms like this.
Yeah.
But I wasn't the best at the time. It came later. I took a while to get to my level that I was at. I was like a slow starter, a late bloomer.
Yeah.
But once I started getting it, I was very smart. And that's kind of how I would, not to toot my own horn like you were saying, that's kind of how I am today. But he was like, you have an inferiority complex. You think that you're not good enough. You think that everybody's better than you. And I had to, that's an identity thing. Where did that come from? I mean, we can go down that rabbit hole, but that's the battle that I had to fight against.
That's a huge one, bro. Like, I mean, it's good for everybody.
That's what kept me going, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how do you feel about yourself now?
I feel great, to be honest.
Yeah.
I would say, as far as inferiority complex,
Yeah.
I mean, that thing's that's an old foe.
Because I asked that because I
Yeah.
think that somebody listening wants to know how to overcome it. You know what I mean? Like, what was it for you that shifted from feeling inferior to feeling good about yourself and feeling worthy and all that stuff? Because I had that as a kid as well. I struggled with self-doubt. I struggled with imposter syndrome. I felt like I wasn't good enough.
Yep.
And it kind of did shift for me as well.
So baseball never cured it.
Right.
It was always surface level. So yes, I was a good baseball player. I did well. I got somewhere, but it never got to the root of the problem. The way that I got to the root of the problem was, I would say, two things. I had to upgrade my identity. Like I was saying, you get your identity partly from your father, your environment, your school, things that people say to you, and then it constructs your image, like how you see yourself. So what I did was, I'm like, how do I want to see myself? Like, what is my 10.0 self? And that's what I teach my people on my team. It's so powerful. Why I teach it is because I did it. Like, I'm the one first. I tell my people, I'm my best transformation.
Yeah.
I'm the best transformation on this team. On my own team, I think I'm the best transformation. Not in a cocky way. I'm just saying, like, all the things that I have you guys do, I've done already, and I continue to do them every single day. So you grab a piece of paper and you write out exactly how you see yourself. Not how you want to see yourself, how you see yourself, the best version of yourself. Your superhero character. You're like, yeah, I mean, your alter ego, if you will. That's how people can understand that,
Yeah.
So does that make sense?
No, it does. It's like you basically did the same thing you did in baseball. You created a character, which is your best self,
Mm-hmm.
and then you push yourself to that level of standard, and you became them. And then little by little, the habits aligned, inferior complex goes away, identity gets reshaped. You know?
And you reshape it by getting out of your comfort zone. So one way to, because you can write and keep writing it and keep writing it. That's a slow process. It'll work over time. You'll start to slowly change it. But the way that you jump up like leaps and bounds is by getting yourself into a uncomfortable position where you have to be that person.
Right.
So like, let's say a podcast, that's a perfect time for you to jump up and level up your identity.
Yeah.
You go into a mastermind, perfect time. You making a big risky move that you got to bet on yourself, perfect time, because you step into it. My whole entire life, I've been stepping into that next little version. And sometimes it's that next big version.
Yeah, physically, not just mentally,
Yep.
not through theory, like literally putting yourself in the room and then conforming to that environment.
Exactly.
Love it, bro.
Get specific. I just want everybody to know, get very specific. Like,
Tell 'em.
How do you walk? How do you talk? What's your demeanor? What's your energy? What's your presence like? How do people see you? How do you see yourself? Are you proud of yourself? Do you respect yourself? Like literally ask 20 questions and just bang them out.
Yeah.
Basically, you're a movie character. Create your movie character.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, you guys stop like searching for who you are and just build who you want to be.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's
Absolutely.
what you're teaching right there. A lot of people are just caught up in this trap of like trying to discover their identity and shit. And it's like, bro, no, you build it. You build who you want to be. And then you just show up as that person.
I go like I say that a lot too, like build it and build it, build it. And that's true. Like it really is. But I take it a little sidestep. I say like reveal.
I love that.
Because it's not about building, it's about revealing, removing.
Yeah.
So that was actually the version of you that was always meant for you to be. But like I said, you get distracted, you get brainwashed, you get lost. Your soul starts going off in a different way. And once you have that solitude, the program that I talk about, it aligns you in that certain way. If you do them all consecutively, it'll start aligning you back to where you need to be. So that solitude will give your spirit strength enough, your soul to be aligned enough to start hearing and seeing who you were actually meant to be. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It's like stripping away all the distraction and putting yourself on a path of, I call it the path of purity. And it's like complete alignment where you're supposed to be that way. You're just, like you said, you're going deep into who you're supposed to be, and there's nothing else in the way.
Yeah.
And
what other job are you supposed to do?
right.
Like for real, you're going to, you're working at Ralph's, or you're working at freaking Home Depot, or you're working at a gym or whatever. Is that your real purpose? The purpose is you. Like the main job is you.
Yeah, talk about purpose, because you speak about purpose and vision a lot. How does somebody find their purpose, and how do they find their vision?
Oh man, that's a
That's deep.
it's not deep. It's just there's a lot of layers to it. You know what I'm saying?
How do they start?
Well,
Solitude. You
your
mentioned
solitude,
that.
like your purpose is hidden in your trauma. That's a basic one for me that everybody knows on my program. Your purpose is hidden in your trauma. So whatever you went through, like for me, inferiority complex, fear, anxiety, man, those are things, lack of vision, lack of confidence. Those are things that I have to answer in order for me to die at peace. I have to answer those. That's my obligation for me. And then if I can find the answers, which I've found a lot of them, then I can help others find their answers. Part of it is you're not supposed to go through life not knowing why you were meant here on this earth. You're not supposed to go through life wondering, guessing. A lot of people are guessing. They think that you're born, you go to school, you get a 9-to-5, or maybe you start a business and you start a family, and that's it.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's it? Really? If that was it, you failed. Seriously.
Yeah.
You failed. You failed at life. If that was it, there's absolutely more to it. You're supposed to keep going. So let's say you got all of that by 28. Okay, you're done? That's it? And you just made a boatload of money? Like you have to go deeper with it. So you have to be able to see like what are your gifts? What are your strong suits? how do you impact people? It's impact over income. Like, how are you impacting people? How are you pointing people back to God? Are you pointing people back to money and distractions and the devil? Which one is it? You tell me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
So that's how you find it. But I wouldn't say you find purpose. It kind of finds you.
I like that.
But you have to look, dog. You have to see. You have to listen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, give them some advice for finding their purpose. What do you tell them? Like, there's a guy, maybe talk to me. So I'm basically, let's say I'm at this time I'm 19, 20 years old, and I'm struggling finding my purpose. What do you tell me?
I would even, to be honest, if you're 19 years old, I wouldn't worry about purpose too much. I would literally create the best freaking you right now, physically, because purpose is one of those things that, like, if you start your journey, you're like, what's my purpose? You can get lost in this shit, bro.
Yeah.
What's my vision? You don't worry about the vision gets unfolded to you one step at a time. And as you make that step, the next step is revealed. That's the faith component. A lot of people want to go through life knowing the whole plan A to Z. I'm like, you don't get A to Z, you get A to B. Can you fulfill A to B? Then B to C will be revealed. So for me, if that was you, I would just be like, get fit. What do you like to do? What do you love to do? Follow that. There probably is some sort of fear, insecurity, or something that you went through from when you were born to 19. Maybe focus on that. Find a mentor. Get around like-minded.
Work on your weaknesses.
Very personal.
Right people.
Yeah, very personal development oriented until you get to a point where you're like, I see it. That's your gift right there. Your gift is, I don't know. What would you say your gift is?
Shit.
Or this person or whatever.
Your
gift. Your gift.
Oh man, I don't have very many.
No, you have one. You have one. You have at least 5. You know.
I mean, the thing that I like existed my whole life is just how I have I'm very analytical, but I think my gift is understanding. It's a form of emotional intelligence, being able to read people,
Gotcha,
feel them before like they even say anything. I just think it's just that. I think it's just really understanding people.
Right.
I think that's a big part of it, and influence. To be honest,
gotcha.
I was always at a young age. I was really shockingly strong at being able to influence other people.
I was the same way.
And I remember a teacher of mine just basically pulled me aside one day and asked if I wanted to be a follower or leader in life. And that conversation shifted me, and it was like the same conversation I was getting at home about being a leader of my brothers. And so there was this pressure on me to be able to like get people to move along and accomplish the mission together, you know? And so from a young age, maybe it was cultivated through my environment, but that was the thing that I was able to do, you know?
So like you have a good read on like what your gifts are now.
Yeah.
But for like that youngster who's just getting started, he probably won't have all that.
Right.
So it'd be like a little inkling. That's what a good mentor. But if you don't have a mentor, you're gonna have to be like aware, like, what am I good at? You should see a little bit pop out.
See it.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
you've always known you're a leader. Yeah. You've always had that characteristic. You've always been influential. And you just now you've ran with it since day one.
Yeah, and it like scared the shit out of me. I never wanted to be the leader. Like it was just I didn't want to fail, you know. And so when I got responsibility, my leadership came forward because of the fear of failure. And then I also have a lot of empathy for people. So when you mix the fear of failure plus I really care about people together, now all of a sudden we're all working together for the same thing, you know. But back to some of the work that you've done. I'm really curious about this. You know, you've changed a lot of people's lives, man. Worked with thousands of people. And when I look online, you got some of the best transformations I've ever seen, right? What is the key to personal transformation for somebody to change who they are, change their identity, whether it's get the body transformation and the spirit, like the full transformation? What is the key?
What is the key? That's like gonna be a big ass key, bro. Like,
well,
it's
like
a massive key.
Well, I mean, like, what's the separator that you see?
I get people dreaming again. I get people igniting their vision again.
Okay.
Because yes, I could teach you personal development. I could teach you a lot of different things. But if you have that veil of like depression on you, where you have that mask on you, it's like a spirit of just fear,
Yeah.
I remove that. And a lot of the easy ones that block that are or that ignite that are just vices. Vices block your vision. Vices, you can't get to the real vices that are deep behind alcohol, drugs, if you don't drop the drugs and alcohol, the weed, the porn. Those are easy ones. I know they seem hard, they're big ones, but you can't get to the vices behind the vices. Once we get there, then we could really start working. But we got to drop the big ones because that's what blocks God's voice. It's not that God can't get to you, because he will get to you while you're drinking and throwing them back. It's that you can't get to God and you can't talk to God. You won't want to talk to God. You'll try to run from God. And that's the part. You got to get militant. And that's where you got to ask yourself too. There's a worldly component too. Do you want to be a warrior? Do you want to be a soldier? Do you want to be somebody? You don't have to be out doing combat like you did, but you can be a savage saint. That's what my people are.
Oh, yeah.
Just a savage civilian, who wakes up early, who doesn't have vices, who doesn't have a lot of things that are just crippling his soul. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I was caught because you said take away the surface level vices, which are the ones that most people know, drinking, drugs, porn, all like those things.
They're
And
basic.
and then you said there's ones deeper behind that.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, damn, what are those? Like what's one of the deeper ones that
I mean, well, why did you drink? Why are you watching porn?
There you go.
Why? You have to ask yourself why.
Yeah.
Ask yourself why 5 times. Get to the root of the problem.
That's solid.
Yeah.
I was talking to one of my guests I had on here, Claudia, about she had like an eating disorder from MMA training and fighting and losing all this weight and coming back and stuff. And she worked with a nutritionist and said something very similar. She said that she had to journal about what the food meant to her and what she was looking for in the food when she was binge eating. And she found out that she was lonely. So that's basically what you're talking about.
What's your relationship with food and why?
Yeah.
What is your relationship to money? What is your relationship to food? What is your relationship with working out? A lot of them are false. A lot of them are off or poor. A lot of people don't like working out. Why? It's a signal of your body's your temple. You're taking care of it. You're honoring your body. Why don't you like money? Money's not bad. There's some sort of fear, something that you don't have. Why don't you like food? Oh, you like that food. You don't like this food. It makes sense. We're starting to see flaws in thinking here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Maybe one more question before we start wrapping it up. What do you wish more people understood? Like, you work with
Themselves?
a lot of I mean, that's true. But like, what do you wish? Like, a lot of people are like, they want the life that they have in their mind. They want change. They want happiness. They want all these things, and they want the body transformation, the life transformation. And I think at the end of the day, a lot of people just aren't really happy with the way that they're living.
Right.
What do you wish more people knew that could make their lives better?
I don't think it's as hard as they're making it out to be. So, like I was saying in the group today, I was like, you're actually not experiencing outside factors that are keeping you down. You're really not. It's actually you and your story that's really holding you back. I want people to really know, and I hope they can take away from this, is that you're the one sabotaging yourself. You have 2 choices every day: to go into self-investment or to self-sabotage. It's your choice. Whatever one you choose, that's on you. That's your responsibility. But
that's solid.
That story that you're telling yourself, you're the one that's creating the narrative. You're already good at creating stories. You're just creating a bad one. You're already good at feelings. You're just entertaining bad feelings. I just need you to look at, a lot of people are only looking at this side. I get people to look at things from this side or from a vantage point that's higher, and then it starts changing. That's why I get transformations, because I alter the way they see things.
Yeah. Repetition makes reputation. So you're telling your story, you're telling yourself a repetitive story about the less than version of you. It's going to become a self-fulfilling prophecy, and you're going to keep self-sabotaging versus telling yourself the new perspective that you're giving them.
Exactly. And in all reality, I just grab their fucking head and just either push them into it and then pull them back out of it. And like, it's not that hard.
Yeah.
You're literally doing it. No one is like at your level.
Yeah.
You're probably going to get some haters. At their level, they got no haters, bro. There is nothing hating on them, bro. You're getting haters. They're not.
Yeah. What do you say to the person that doesn't have any haters, but he's telling himself he does? Oh, they're hating on me, bro. He's got a chip on his shoulder, and he's saying that they're hating on him.
It's your relationship with people. Like, you know, whenever people say, I don't trust anyone, what you really said is, I don't trust myself.
Yeah.
You know, it's what you were the one that was, you were telling the story that from the book that you read, that everybody that you encounter, just visualize that's you. That's a version of you at a different point, either further ahead or back.
Yeah.
And that's what they're doing. Life is a mirror. They're literally exploiting themselves. They're exposing themselves. So that's why I get caught too. I'm like, I got you, Mike. You ain't that sharp. You ain't that sharp, dog.
Yeah.
So we all got things to work on, you know?
Yeah. I love it, man. Man, anything else that you want to dive into that you think is important for somebody that's watching this to really hear, you know, that maybe I might have missed? Think about your core people or the people that are just coming across you for the first time.
I think just like belief, bro. Like belief in yourself. Like you don't need people to believe in you. You could use that, but like a lot of people don't go for their dreams because they're basing their dreams off of you or me. I'm like, we have nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
People are going to come and go anyway.
Yeah.
What needs to stay consistent is your character and your, like literally just go for it. It's more risky not to do anything. That dream you wanted to go for, that vision, whatever it was, that's what you were meant to do. It's more risky not to go for it. You have to go for this. That's your purpose. If you died not doing it, you failed. I really believe that.
Yeah.
Like that's your job, bro. So like, how do you increase that belief? I don't know. Like I have a bunch of ways, but
that's an important message for everybody to hear. Mm-hmm. You know, and to know that to empower them to actually believe in themselves, like, and to know that they're the one getting in their own way.
Absolutely.
And I think more people need that wake up moment because I think they feel it deep down inside, but nobody's ever telling it to them. Nobody's telling them like, bro, you're literally making this little tiny problem in your life a fucking mountain, and that's what's causing you to have all these problems.
What is your belief system? How did you grow up? I don't know if you're the same. All my people on my team, I shatter their belief systems all the time. I have to, because a lot of them are false. They think that money's bad. They think that fitness is hard. They think cut out carbs. They think making money's hard. Like a lot of limiting beliefs. If we could change their belief system, we could get somewhere. We could start getting somewhere.
Yeah, not everything you guys believe is true.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Mm-hmm. That's what he just said right there. Hell yeah. All right. Final things before we close it up, bro. Anything else you want to tell them? Where can they find you? How can they stay in contact with you?
I would get a coach. You can find me Instagram, GasMoney1 on Instagram. You're talking to me directly. You could reach out to me. YouTube, same thing. Just type in my name. Other than that, I think that there's some good gems in this interview. Yeah. And I appreciate you for having me on, bro.
Yeah, bro, you crushed it. This will change your life. If you guys really sit here and replay this, pull out the nuggets, put them into action steps, take action. I mean, it'll change your life. You know, you'll get 6 months down the line, more confidence, less imposter syndrome, less inferiority complex, more results. Like it's just a good overall like show that can really help somebody get moving on the right direction, you know?
Absolutely.
And there's going to be somebody that wants to like potentially work with you. So you said hit you up on what, Instagram?
Yeah, Instagram, or YouTube, whatever. Instagram's the easiest.
Just tell them, they can figure all that stuff out, but like the primary way that they could
Instagram
to get a hold of you, hit you up on Instagram, say be the leader when you hit up Mike. That way he knows where you're coming from. Yeah, and it'll shorten the learning curve.
I love it.
And you guys, they'll talk to you directly.
Absolutely.
Yeah? And you guys will get to know each other, figure out if it's a fit.
Yeah.
And fucking start becoming your 10.0 self. Yeah?
That's right.
Hell yeah. Cool, bro. Well, thank you so much for coming in, and it was an honor, man.
Absolutely. Appreciate it, bro.
Guys, you heard the deal. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed the show, share it with a friend. You know, do us that solid, pass it over to somebody that you think could benefit from it, somebody that likes personal development, success, somebody that you know maybe is in a tough spot and wants to change their life. Love you all. Take action on this stuff today. Till next time, be the leader.